Thank you so much, Heather. So I want to play a quick little game with you because I bet people can't guess, all right? I want you all to tell me, all right, how many times do you think that the average one-year-old here in the US hears the word no? And I will put on my teacher voice and I will point to people if people don't want to shout it out. I need like 3 answers. 200? I hear 200. Yes, sweetie. Yep. 93,000. He did his calculations. All right, I see here 293,000. Any others? How many times the average one-year-old in the U.S. hears no? In the back, in the white shirt. You, my dear, your turn. Yes, you. Yes. 1,000. 1,293,000. I bet you all want to know the answer, right? Should I wait? So it's actually 400 times per day, according to a UCLA study. I don't know how long they were sitting and like counting that, but that was probably like a lot, right? But I want you to also know that as you become an adult, it doesn't get much better, because I heard no quite a bit. But I want to tell you all about one mentor in particular who has been really instrumental and influential in my life. So I matriculated to Brown in search of exciting applications of math and science, and so I somehow found myself sitting in the front row of Engineering 3, which is Introduction to Engineering. I heard someone's going to be concentrating in engineering. Where are you, my dear? Are they here today? Who's going to be doing engineering? No one? They're scared? Where are you?
I see moms
they're
waving their hands.
Wonderful. So this is for you, okay? This is for you, all right? So I was in the front row of Introduction to Engineering, all right? And I remember Professor Bloom's first demonstration. So she had a bowling ball, like an actual bowling ball that you see like in the bowling alley, like a big, heavy bowling ball, suspended from a rope on the ceiling. And we had a 400, 300 member class in engineering. And I remember she stood on one side of the room and pulled the bowling ball like right up to her nose. Then she lets go of the bowling ball and it goes right across the other side of the room. And then we're all just like in shock because she's standing there not moving while the ball is like careening right towards her. We're like, oh my God, right? And so the ball comes, for all my physicists, like an inch away from her nose and then retreats back like a pendulum all the way to the other side of the room. And as you can believe, the whole class just burst into thunderous applause, and I was hooked. I said, oh boy, this is it, right? So Professor Bloom, she proved to be a really empowering mentor for me. And when I started to study engineering, other professors would scoff at me because I wanted to do engineering and education. And they would say, you've got to decide which one you are. And that's really how they would say it. And instead, Professor Bloom said, engineering and education, wow, we need that. And when I wanted to study abroad my junior year, my peers told me, engineers don't study abroad, in the same voice. Since engineering concentrators, be prepared, there's a lot of requirements, but you can get through it. So there were a lot of requirements, and they said, you can't do that. However, Professor Bloom, she guided me in finding the courses that would work for me at the University of New South Wales in Australia, and we figured it out, and so I got to study abroad down under, and it was really incredible. I had a whole semester there. If anyone wants to travel abroad, definitely go to Sydney. It was really, really fun. So I encourage you all to find mentors who will empower you and your ideas. Professor Bloom encouraged me to pursue my interests, even though everyone was telling me no. And I wasn't one, so it was a lot. Also, my mother taught me to sit in the front row of church as a kid. Anyone go to church as a kid? You gotta like sit in the front row? Yeah, so you guys know, right? Mom said you gotta sit on the front row and take copious notes. And who knew that that would actually translate well into attending engineering lectures? So I would sit in the front row of Professor Bloom's class, and I would take notes and regularly attend her office hours. So she would see me. She was probably tired of seeing me, like, who is this girl? But she supported me and believed in me, and she really answered my questions beyond just, how do you do this problem on the problem set? She really was instrumental in supporting me. She believed in me and actually nominated me to be one of her teaching assistants, despite my intense imposter syndrome and feeling like I didn't belong and I'm intimidated. How could I do this? Who knew that I would TA that captivating intro class for the remaining 3 years of my time at Brown? So the lesson from this is to create opportunities for mentors to actually get to know you and your work. Your mentor may become a sponsor who nominates you for stretch roles. Accept their offer even if you think you're unqualified. And also get mentors who are excited to support you. Professor Bloom enthusiastically served as my reference for multiple industry jobs, and she also wrote all my grad school recommendations. And to this day, I really have no idea what she wrote, but clearly it worked, so I'm glad she did it. But I really don't know what she said, so I'm just grateful for her. And for my time, Professor Bloom, I really learned significantly more than just engineering. She taught me, ignore the haters, because the haters are gonna hate, y'all know, they're gonna hate, and they'll tell you no. Accept invitations, even if you're nervous. And also find people who enthusiastically support you. You're gonna constantly hear no, and you can't, in that voice, your whole life. But you have to find the mentors who will champion your yes, and who will lovingly tell you when you're wrong, because you're gonna be wrong at some point, right? At some point you will be wrong, but you want someone who's gonna lovingly coach you through that. My mentorship from Professor Bloom also taught me the importance of staying connected. I think that was mentioned earlier, right? Staying connected with people is very important. So my current role is a direct testament to staying in touch. Professor Bloom knew about my research when I was at Columbia, since I guess she wrote the recommendation, so we were in touch, so she knew what was going on, and I would regularly update her on my research in engineering education. And also I told her about my personal life, and I'm having my kids. It was a really great time to keep in touch with her. And so when this role at Brown University opened up, she encouraged me to apply since she was familiar with my research interests. Regularly networking with my mentor helped inform me about opportunities of which I would have otherwise been unaware. Professor Bloom impacted my career and my life trajectory for the better. So some takeaways from this are to always leave a lasting positive impression, because one day you might get called back to the same program that impacted you. You never know. Also, stay connected. People who are truly invested in you will keep you in mind. And now, since I know that many of you are going to be college students and are college students, and also you're a part of the great class of 2028, so congratulations to all of you on that. That's a weak applause. Come on, congrats to the new class. Thank you. There we go. Okay. I wanted to briefly touch on a few of my inspiring student projects that I'm working on right now at Brown that are very meaningful to me as an alum. So as a first-gen student from Waterbury, specifically Wilby High School, any Wilby High Schoolers in the house? No? One over here, one back there, all right? I see you, Wilby, I see you. So I was a first-gen from Wilby, all right? And I had to overcome so many challenges as a new college student, even with that exceptional mentorship from Professor Bloom. So my own experiences as an engineering undergraduate student and my research in engineering education inspired the inaugural Summer Transition Engineering Program, or STEP. We're all calling it STEP. STEP empowers students with the resources, tools, and mindset to thrive in engineering and beyond. Students have been engaging in STEP online since July 8th, hence I am very, 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 very busy, but it's been very fun. And we will soon welcome all of our residents to campus in about 2 more weeks. So my life is about to get even crazier in a good way. So I'm just really thrilled about that. And so having exceptional mentors like Professor Bloom has also instilled in me a passion for providing mentorship and other opportunities for others as well. In the School of Engineering, I'm establishing the inaugural Engineering Mentoring Program that is especially critical for engineers. This program helps to foster peer mentoring, student to alumni mentoring, and also group career chats. We have already launched the pilot program this past spring, and we are super excited for the fall, so it's going to get even busier in a good way. So though these programs, spinning the mic, sorry about that. Though these programs and more, I am building mentoring relationships with my students, passing on the torch from the incredible mentorship that I've received throughout my life. Some of my exemplary students proactively reach out to me and attend my office hours. They also sit in the front row of their classes and they take copious notes, whether or not they grew up in church, right? So they do that. And they connect with me on LinkedIn, they come to me for advice, and they even volunteer to help out with events that we're doing in the School of Engineering. My students also regularly update me on what's going on in their lives and in their academic careers, what they're aspiring to do. One student in particular actually just texted this to me. She said, "Dean Russell, I have met a lot of faculty in my summer research program, and I have told them about you and how much you've changed my experience at Brown." Another one texted me right when she started her internship, and she said, "Dean Russell, I have been reflecting on this past year, and I wanted to thank you for being an active part of it. You make such an effort to encourage and protect your engineering students." I do, they're all mine. "Please know that it makes a much greater impact than you realize. Thank you for believing in me." But what my students might not fully understand is that these relationships have transformed my life. They are the ones doing the hard work, and I get to live out my mentoring dream. So I want all of you to remember this. Don't forget, okay? Mentors will change your life, but each of you also is going to change theirs. So thank you so much, Heather and the American Savings Foundation, for having me back here today, and thank you all for listening.